My name is Mark Carrington from mybitcoinprofits.com. I'm a seasoned investor and a proven entrepreneur. And I was asked earlier this week a bunch of questions about how to profit from Bitcoin. So I've prepared some responses here based on a phone conversation I had with a friend who had asked the question. And my style is always to provide structure and to use data. So my presentation is going to do absolutely that. So the first question is how to profit from Bitcoin. And basically there are three ways you can do it. One is you can buy the Bitcoin and just hold them. The second one is you can earn Bitcoin by charging people in Bitcoin, finding ways to get Bitcoin for free. And the third option is to mine Bitcoin. And there are variations inside all of those. So I will go into each of those in a little more detail. So the first one is to earn Bitcoin. So if you have any sort of business where you're in charge of getting money from your customers, is you can give your customers an option to pay in Bitcoin. So if you have an online business, you can use BitPay as a service example to collect Bitcoin in the same way as you would use PayPal or your merchant processor. If you have a job, you could actually ask your boss to pay some of your salary or all of your salary in Bitcoin. So for example, there's a business in the United States called BitWage, which is now also launched in Europe, that provides access to any employer to pay salaries in Bitcoin. The flip side of that is you also do need to work out how you're going to convert your Bitcoin back to currency for the places that do not accept Bitcoin for payment. But there are many people who do accept Bitcoin for payment. The variation on the first bullet is you could build an online business. So alongside what you're doing, you're selling ebooks or some sort of service like that, or an Amazon business, and only accept payments in Bitcoin. So you create your marketing edge is that you will sell for Bitcoin only, and you will collect Bitcoin that way. The fourth bullet point down is there are a whole range of Bitcoin free sites, so places where you can earn Bitcoin by doing stuff. The fancy name for this is Bitcoin faucets. The net of Bitcoin faucets is that there's actually a lot of work for relatively small rewards, but it can be a good starting point. And I've put here a link to, I just Googled Bitcoin faucets. So that's the words I Googled here. I just Googled Bitcoin faucets and I found this website, which struck me as being someone who's looked at the topic for a while. So if I could find it quickly up here, I do have them all open. This article has run for a while. It says get free Bitcoins with 31 website faucets. It's dated December 31st, 2013, but it was updated April 15th, 2016. So it's all up to date. And what I like down here is he's listed a bunch of websites with his commentary. So freebitco.in tells you how much you're going to get paid. Hand down my favorite faucet. Timing is hourly, and there are different examples here, some paid in different currencies, and it gives you an idea. But do recall that the amount of work that you have to do to get a reward is quite large for small rewards. But what I do find with those, the beauty about them is it forces you to get a wallet. It forces you to work out how to secure your wallet. It gets you learning about what Bitcoin actually is. And I have one built into one of my my Twitter account, is that if you like my videos, I add that onto the bottom of my videos. If you like my videos, you're free to buy me a beer, pay in Bitcoin, and I collect Bitcoin for people who tip me for providing interesting advice. The next bullet point down, the fifth bullet point down, is there are a whole range of Bitcoin investment sites that have popped up, and they've literally popped up in the last 5 or 6 weeks. And basically the idea is you invest in Bitcoin and you get paid in Bitcoin. And they have high daily returns. And for example, one that I signed up last week is, as a plan, it's a 4% daily return. They do have an affiliate program, so if you persuade your friends to go and invest, you can earn affiliate income paid in Bitcoin. And the examples that I've listed here, we have xeo.io and we have amazing5.net. My observation as a person who's experienced in financial services matters is that we do have to be wary of Ponzi schemes. If someone's offering a 4% daily return and is not telling you how they are actually making the money, there's a very good chance that their business is actually not regulated and that it is a Ponzi scheme. And what is a Ponzi scheme? A Ponzi scheme is where you're using the payments that are coming in today to pay the people the promises you made last week or the week before, and eventually what happens is when the money stops coming in, the scheme falls over. Now, I have no idea whether any of these are Ponzi schemes or not. They just smell that way to me. That doesn't mean that we ignore them. Is what it means is that if I want to invest, I want to keep the risk small so that it's a money that I can afford to lose. And if you're getting a 4% return a day, it doesn't take too many days to get your capital back, so your money is at risk for a relatively short period of time. So let's just have a quick look at one of those. So one that I signed up for a few days ago, it's called xeo.io. It had logged me out while we were waiting, but that's absolutely fine. And you'll see here, this is my safe member area. They talk about all sorts of high security systems, and you can see that I have an account balance. I have an amount that I can actually withdraw, so this button here is clickable. And what I will tell you, and here the investment plan, so it's 4% daily for 50 calendar days, or you can do 5% daily for 50 calendar days, but for a minimum of 10,000 Bitcoin. So they're looking for substantial amounts of money. No, at the current Bitcoin price of $440 US, putting down 10,000 Bitcoin is a substantial amount of money. There are a little bit of reservations you need to have when you read the fine print on here. So if you go and this is the amount that I invested, 0.0125, and I said I would compound at 25%, so basically reinvest 25% of what I'm earning, and then you can just join up. And I've not yet tested whether I can get the money out, but I have risked $50 US, and so far the returns are, given that I started with 0.125, I've got 0.138, so I'm already at a better than a 10% return, so shouldn't be unhappy provided I can get my money out. And they have an affiliate program, so if I can persuade my friends to invest, then I will get a reward, and that's also quite attractive. So that's a way to earn Bitcoin. So I'll kill that one. And there's another one called Amazing5.net, which I've been introduced to recently. They have a 5% daily for 31 business days. It'll tell exactly you'll make it for $50. You'll earn $2.50 a day. It is important here to read the fine print because your investment does not get returned to you. So that $2.50 a day, that's what you get. You'll get $77.50 at the back. You do not get your 50 back. So clearly you're making a return, but you do not get your original capital back. And they have some limits in here, and they do have some alternate plans. They've got quite a large number of customers. They're operating in multiple languages, and they do have down here an affiliate program which is delivering reasonably good results. But there is no information on here at all about how this business is actually earning those returns. We do not know if it's a mining business, whether it's a lending business, or I have no idea. So I will put $50 in here in the next day or so and just see what happens. And if I start getting returns, then I might start running an affiliate side of that business. But at the moment, I'm not promoting it. And there's another one I found this week, which is a business called Chrono Mining. It is a brand new business. It started on April the 10th. So it's been running 12 days. It has 112 accounts. It is $475 has been invested and $202 has been paid out. So this business is small, and what it does is this one actually does tell us what they do is that they buy mining contracts and invest in them. And if we have a look at the investors' top 10, this is rather interesting. You can actually have a look at how many people have actually invested. So these are the top 10 guys. So somebody has invested $157. So he's happy to lose 157. Lots of small ones here. But these guys are actually buying mining contracts and making their money. And that makes me a little more comfortable, is that I can actually see. So Bitcoin investment sites, we talked about that. High daily returns. You can earn some money on affiliates. And just remember to tell your mates to keep their risks small. So my friend then asked me some key questions about Bitcoin. These are sort of step back questions, very sensible questions. I'll go through the questions. Firstly, is Bitcoin a bubble? Can the government close it down? Now, that's a big question. And how do I store Bitcoin safely? So let's just go through that. Is Bitcoin a bubble? And I'm going to answer that question in two ways. First of all, I'm an investor and I'm a trader. And excuse all the lines on the chart, because the lines on the chart are being used for another purpose. The chart here, this is the Bitcoin against the US dollar. So this tells me what the value of the Bitcoin is expressed in US dollars as traded on this exchange called Bitstamp. And we'll see from the early days, and I'm just going to make an adjustment to this chart to make sure we can see from the early days. So from the early days from this exchange, we're seeing that the price has gone sideways. So while the business has been building up, and then for a number of event reasons, it's grown dramatically. And this is driven by the Chinese saying that it was okay for Chinese people to participate in Bitcoin. This big drop-off here was driven by two events. One is that the Chinese said financial institutions could not participate in Bitcoin, and then there was a failure of one of the large exchanges which happened in this time frame. And then we've seen since then is the price has been trading in a range, but it's in a range between, I think I started in Bitcoin at $319. It's between $390 and it's currently $440. So that's in a pretty solid range over a 2-year period. And that tells me that this bubble time is over, that this is something that is here to stay, because there are people prepared to trade Bitcoin for US dollars on a regular basis every day. The other way I'd like to answer the question is just to have a look at data about transactions. Is this a bubble? And Bitcoin, we can say whether it's a bubble or not. So what we've got here is number of transactions per day that are going across the blockchain. And let's put the chart for all time. And what this looks to me like, it is a business that is building and now ramping up dramatically. So the transactability of Bitcoin has grown dramatically. So this does not look like a bubble to me. Is that people are transacting this on a daily basis at a high level, and there are exchanges available for people to. So if we have a look at the level for people to convert their Bitcoin into other markets, so we see even here, this is over a 60-day period, we can see transaction volume is rising and doing between 140 and 220,000 transactions every single day are running across the Bitcoin blockchain. That also tells me that the platform is actually working, is that it's coping with those volumes. So that's my first part of it. Is Bitcoin a bubble? The next question is can the government close Bitcoin down? Well, the first answer to that is that Bitcoin is constructed as a decentralized network. And basically every node on the network contains the whole Bitcoin ledger, which means that for anybody who wants to close it down, they have to close down pretty well every instance of those decentralized ledgers. So if a government chooses to close it down, they absolutely can close down internet access in their country. It just means that those nodes that are now blocked out will no longer be holding the latest version of the ledger, and someone else's ledger will have the right records, and the processing work that verifies all those transactions will just recognize there's a node missing, and off they will go. There are other ways that Bitcoin mining activity, the way the Bitcoin are verified is verified by the Bitcoin mining companies. A government could choose to close down your Bitcoin mine for some spurious reason, like you're not meeting work and safety standards. And a smart Bitcoin mine operator will have operations in more than one town, in more than one country, outside of earthquake zones. And there are other miners who will step up to take up the workload. So that's the important part of the decentralized network. And even in China, where they regulate internet access, I have no shortage of friends who work and live in China who access Facebook on a regular basis, and they just use proxy networking. And my own Bitcoin activity, if I want to behave as if I'm in the UK and operate my UK bank account, even though I live in Australia, I just pretend through my computer that I'm in the UK. So there are ways of just using a service like Hide My Ass to get around that sort of control. The positive side of Bitcoin regulation is that I notice that increasingly we're seeing Bitcoin and Bitcoin activity is being recognized by governments at different levels. So for example, here in Australia, there are Australian Tax Office rulings about the way they will treat Bitcoin transactions. There have been rulings by the IRS in the United States about how they will do it. The European Union announced how they're going to treat it from a VAT point of view not that long ago. And another example, which is completely different, is that there was a company operating here in Australia that wanted to float their business on the Australian Stock Exchange, and there were a whole bunch of filings with ASIC and with the Australian Stock Exchange that implicitly recognize that Bitcoin is a positive, it's a fact of life. There are other factors that are a risk, and I do have friends, for example, who have had their bank accounts closed down because they've had an excessive amount of Bitcoin transactions. You just have to have multiple bank accounts to deal with that risk. So it is early days. There are some risks. The next example is that Silk Road, which was a business that was collecting Bitcoin by doing illegal things. Silk Road was closed down, and through the powers of the anti-money laundering regulations, that's what AML stands for in the chart, and the powers of the Patriot Act, for example, the FBI has very large powers to take action against activity that break those sorts of rules. And they took action, they seized the Bitcoin and subsequently auctioned them. So there is a risk, but the risk is that you can get closed down in one corner of the world and just pop up somewhere else, provided your Bitcoin were not locked up in a single place where they could be accessed, they could be transferred relatively easily. And the next question then comes down to is, how do I store Bitcoin safely? There is no shortage of you need a wallet. There are no shortage of online wallets available. Security is essential if you're going to have an online wallet. I use complex passwords. Two-factor authentication is important so that you can demonstrate that a login attempt is being backed up by some other mechanism. That way that you reduce the chance of someone else grabbing hold of your money. For online wallets, you do need to use a wallet provider that provides a level of vault security. So they take your Bitcoin and keep them actually offline. The safest place for your Bitcoin is they're not online. So the Mt. Gox failure, for example, everybody lost their money because the vault was not securely separated from access externally. And if you have large amounts in a wallet, take them offline. And there are tools available like Trezor, for example, where it provides a USB key. You download your Bitcoin information and your keys onto Trezor and take the USB out of your computer, and you're no longer connected to the network, so your Bitcoin are totally safe. Or you can equally print them out, the address information, the key information on a piece of paper, and keep those pieces of paper secure in a fireproof safe or something like that. So those are a bunch of questions that get in the way of wanting to do Bitcoin. So it's a bit complicated, but it's not a bubble. It's going to stay because transaction volume is growing. There are more and more people prepared to accept Bitcoin. There's no shortage of place to exchange your Bitcoin into other currency. It's not going to go away. So the next question goes down to, I will just go and step back. We've talked about buying Bitcoin. We've talked about earning Bitcoin. So now let's talk about mining Bitcoin. Now, mining Bitcoin is we don't need to go into the complications of it. There's some design principles built into the Bitcoin model. The first design principle is there are only 21 million coins that will ever be issued, and they are issued based on proving that you have done work to mine them, and they're currently issued at a rate of 3,600 per day. And that issue rate is slowing down because the complexity to do the algorithmic work is increasing. That's all part of the design. So it means that the availability of Bitcoin is starting to flatten out, and the process of mining has become complicated. So I just want to show the chart. So if we go back to charts, total Bitcoins in circulation, we'll do it all time, and I'm going to do it as a logarithmic scale. So here we start in January 2009 when we started, and we can see that in those first few months there were large numbers of Bitcoins that were made available. So we can see this very steep curve. This is what we call in mathematics, this is a parabola, and then it's flattening out. Now this is a logarithmic scale, so what it disguises is that how many Bitcoin are actually being released on a daily basis. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this back to 60 days, and I will draw it on a linear scale, and we will see that we've gone in the last 60 days, we've gone from 15.2 million Bitcoin, and we are now at 15.4 million Bitcoin. So basically added 230,000 Bitcoin over that period of time. So it's a linear growth curve, but it's not as fast as it was previously. So the challenge for Bitcoin mining, and the best way to deal with this, is going to do it by analogy. And the analogy I'm going to use is gold mining. And my friend is a South African. I am a South African. We understand gold mining. In the early days, gold mining wasn't that hard. You'd find the nuggets in a creek. And then the first gold rush in California was followed by a gold rush in New Zealand, was followed by a gold rush in Australia. So all the guys had to do was get on a ship and take their pans and go and find the nuggets in a creek. Once the creek mining, and in South Africa, in the eastern parts of South Africa, that's exactly where the first gold discoveries were, in a place called Pilgrim's Rest. When they discovered gold in Johannesburg, they found them on the hillside, and what that was is the top of the reef, and the reef was going down at an angle into the earth. So nowadays, in South African context, which is still the largest or the second largest producer of the gold mining is mined at a deep level. The mines are 3 miles below the surface. It takes the workers an hour and a half to 2 hours by lift and by train underground to get to the reef that they are working. They have the largest air conditioning systems ever built. So the complexity and the rewards for gold mining are growing. So the only people that are winning in gold mining are the people who've got the capital to do that. And Bitcoin mining is exactly the same. In the early days, you could put it on your computer and mine Bitcoin. Or you could build yourself an ASIC miner with 5 ASIC cards and mine Bitcoin. Those days are now gone. And the Bitcoin mine winners have built massive data centers in locations where electricity cost is low. And electricity cost is between 30 and 40% of the cost of mining Bitcoin. And they have to keep investing, because the minute you stop investing in processing power is your return rates, the probabilities of you hitting a block, go down. So what does that mean for you as a person interested in Bitcoin mining? Is what are your choices? And I've laid out 3 choices on here. The first is join a mining pool. So find someone who's got together with a bunch of other people and participate in the mining pool. And the key part of that process is that you do have to keep your hashing power. Hashing power is just an expression for the amount of computations you're doing per second, growing as the complexity grows, so that you keep pace and that your mining pool keeps pace with the workload as it grows. The second way of mining Bitcoin is to mine alternate coins. There are a whole range of alternate coins. They go by all sorts of funny names like Dogecoin, Litecoin, Altcoin, Ethereum, and then as you mine those, you convert them to Bitcoin. And the reason for converting them to Bitcoin is that there is a risk that some of these alternate coins are not going to survive And if you go past the convertibility date, is you're not going to have a cent. So we'll convert them to Bitcoin because we believe Bitcoin's going to stay. And then the third option is to focus on one of the new coins and grow with it. And I've put that one there separately for a very particular reason, is because there is one of the new coins that I'm really excited by and that I'm investing actively in, and its name is Ethereum. And I'll go into a little bit more about why I'm excited about that when we get to talk about Ethereum. So those are the three options. And now let's just talk about what am I doing, because I'm only interested in talking to you about the things that I'm doing. So I'm not going to talk about the things that I'm not doing. So the BitClub Network is my Bitcoin mining pool. BitClub Network has grown to number 5 or number 6 in Bitcoin mining. It depends a little bit on which data you use and what processes you explore. So here, as I have some data, it's from bitcoinchain.com/pools. I have clicked one button on this, which tells me the ones that you can actually join. So this lists a series of Bitcoin mining pools that are available. So the largest of which is Ant Pool, then FT Pool, BTC Pool, Bitfury, and so on. And BitClub Network is listed down here. So it's in the top 10, and I'm going to list data for the last month. So I've got BitClub's Bitcoin mining pools that are joinable. I focus only on the top 10. I've also hidden away the ones that are not making money and the ones that have died. And unfortunately, this website, when I run my fingers on this thing, run the cursor over it, it makes it hard to read. So I'm going to point out to you what we're looking at. So BitClub Network is on the left-hand side. It's in the dark blue, and it is mined 147 blocks. So it's this one here. So that is number 1, number 2, 3. So let's start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th, 8th. So in the current rating, this is the 8th largest pool. And sometimes it's 5th, sometimes it's 6th. Just depends a little bit on the time frames and how things have been going. Now, what is different about the BitClub Network? There are two important areas of difference. The first one is that BitClub Network includes a compulsory repurchase percentage. So any network pool you join, you have to repurchase a certain percentage of your Bitcoin mine goes towards buying new mining equipment. And the purpose of that is to actually keep up with the complexity so that the network does not fall behind in its hashing power. The third bullet point there is that BitClub Network it's also a network marketing opportunity. Is that you can earn Bitcoin from members you introduce to the network who start mining. And every time they buy into a pool and every time their pool makes a repurchase, you will earn Bitcoin. So I joined the BitClub Network in November time. That was nervous times because it was relatively new. It is now firmly established business. It's firmly established as growing its hashing power, and it has its place. Its data centers are in Iceland, which is a low-cost electricity area using geothermal power. It's using renewable power, which is fabulous. And the important part of it is that, and I'm going to underline these words as I read them out, is the future success of BitClub Network is not dependent on new members joining. And this is unusual in a network marketing business. Network marketing businesses are normally predicated on future success is based on continually adding new members who continue to buy stuff. And it doesn't matter whether you're talking about Amway or C Secrets or any one of those businesses or Joan Essay, they the future success is dependent on new members joining and people continuing to repurchase. BitClub Network is more than a Bitcoin mining business because it has its own cryptocurrency called ClubCoin, which will be the currency that they will use for a merchant platform that they are in the process of developing and building. So it'll allow people to accept ClubCoin for services in merchants all the way around the world. Now, what is the opportunity? The opportunity in BitClub Network is the founder pools are still available. What a founder does is you get access to new ventures. For example, you could get access to the ATM network, you get access to the merchant platform, and those are currently still available to people from anywhere in the world, but access from people in the United States will be closed at the end of April until such time as they can resolve some regulatory matters. So there is a window of opportunity. The cost to join the network is you pay $99 to join the network. That gives you the right to market to other people. A minimum pool is $500 and a founder's pool totals $3,500. And all of those amounts have to be paid in Bitcoin. So that's the BitClub Network, and I will just very quickly log into it and show you my mining status. So we'll see here's the home page. I have in my wallet, I have 0.38657 Bitcoin, which is the equivalent to $171. I have earned 4.69 Bitcoin in mining, so multiply that by 440, that's around $1,700. And I have an amount showing here of ClubCoin, which is 0.77. This is a very small showing because I've actually got this staking in a ClubCoin mining pool. So if we just step into the mining earnings chart, so you can see there's the 4.69 being paid out to me is that amount, and pool number 1 is set at 100%, so I'm repurchasing at 100%. Pool 2 is set at 100%, and pool 3 is set at 70%, so that's where these paid pieces have come from, is this percentage here. And I can change this percentage, so these are the 3 pools here, 1, 2, 3. I can change these percentages at any time. The minimum is 50 on this pool, the minimum is 40 on this pool, and the minimum is 30 on this pool. And what we see here, these are the pools that I've purchased across the top and how many days are still to run. But what I like about this is that every repurchase I have, so this is a repurchase made on the 21st of April, which is yesterday. It was yesterday, and it runs for 1,010 days. New pools are only open for 600 days, so I'm grandfathered in here. So that is just a quick picture on the BitClub network. So $99 to join, the minimum pool is $500, and a founder's pool is $3,500. And if you're an American, you have to get your act together by April the 30th to get your Bitcoin sourced and into the network. So let's just turn across to the next chart, which is, we've done that one. So we said the next way to mine Bitcoin is recognizing that Bitcoin mining is becoming large scale, is to mine alternate coins. So this one here is called Mine Alternate Coins, and the company that I use to do this is called Genesis-Mining. So I'm just going to do the update here on the fly so it doesn't look like a presentation. So Bitcoin mining is large scale. So it has options to mine alternate coins, and they have half a dozen different types of coins that you can mine, and then you can convert them to Bitcoin. There's a low entry point, so you can pay $44 for a 1-year contract, It is important, though, to keep your hashing power growing, and I will show you that by example. So you will see here, here's my dashboard. The 3 alternate ways you can mine. You can buy SHA-256 power, you can buy X11 power, or you can buy Ether power, so mining Ethereum. So you can see here I have 7.5 mega hashes of Ethereum. And what I wanted to show you here was my account, my orders. So you can see here that I've actually, and the important part I'm going to show you here is that when I started this Ether mining, I was receiving, when it got to its peak, 17.17 ETH per day. So you'll see 0.17 ETH per day here, 0.17, and then you can see it's starting to decline. So 0.14, and I don't know what I got yesterday, 0.1. So I have just invested a flat amount of money, and it is the hashing rate. I've not kept up with the hashing rate, so this amount is reducing. So I actually need to keep investing. And these are the range of things that you can, they mine, Bitcoin, Dash, Feathercoin. There are a whole range of things here. Most of these I know absolutely nothing about. They all use these, they all use a variation of these hashing techniques. So that is Genesis mining. So we've talked about check the hashing power you're buying. There is an option to purchase Ethereum mining contracts. So even though when you log in it says they're not available, they are actually available. There is an affiliate program. The affiliate program gives a discount to you when you buy it. So if you use my code, you'll get a 3% discount, but what it also does is it adds hashing power to the affiliate. So that's a win-win for both of us. So that is it's an interesting low-cost way to get into Bitcoin mining or alternate coin mining, and then to convert what you mine to Bitcoin. Now the last thing I'm going to talk about is it's a version of alternate coin mining. You'll remember I talked at the front about, if I can find my chart again, focus on one of the new coins and grow with it. So this last discussion is around mining a new coin which is called Ethereum, and we'll show you how new Ethereum is by going to its chart of its price. So Ethereum against the US dollar, that's a weekly chart. I'm going to switch it to a daily chart because the data only starts, it's brand new. It started August 2015, and you can see very much like that Bitcoin chart is it went sideways for an age and then it rocketed and then it has pulled back. So it looks very similar. So it's now stabilizing around this $8 per ETH is what they call it. Ether, I think they actually call it. So each one is worth about $8. And you'll remember the Bitcoin one, we can see the number here is 445. Wouldn't it be cool if ETH went from 8 to 445, or even if it went half the way there or a third of the way there? So that's why it's of interest to me. Now, why is it of interest to me? It's of interest to me because Ethereum is not just a coin. The design of the blockchain has been designed specifically to facilitate the sharing of contracts. And I want to, this is a bit hard to read this text because the font is too small. So I'm just going to, for the moment, just increase the size of this font It's going to mess the prettiness of my chart, but at least we can read it. So it's designed to facilitate the sharing of contracts. And I'm going to do an example. The best example, the easiest example to understand is if you have a rock band that sells a song and the song is downloaded. What the Ethereum blockchain will allow you to do is to program into the blockchain the contract as to how the money will be split to the people who contributed to the creation of that song. So 1% to the producer, 1% to the drummer, 83% to the songwriter, and 6% to the guy who sang the songs, and 1% to the record label. And every time somebody downloads a song and pays in Ether, the money will be automatically distributed to the people whose names are written up in the contract. That is pretty neat. And it's ultimately what Steve Jobs did when Apple launched iTunes, is they built that into their software. Now, the important part of access to the Ethereum blockchain is that payment is in Ethereum only. So that's what the coin is for, and is to get access to the blockchain. Now, there are many other examples of the sharing of contracts. If you think about the settlement, and I worked in the old days in the back offices of London financial institutions, the settlement of repo transactions, for example, is still largely a manual process. The exchange and settlement of property transactions is still a very strongly manual process. This can be entirely automated. It can be entirely automated across geographies with no chance that people can mess with the documents, so that you don't have to have people physically sitting in the same room to do stuff. The documents can be guaranteed to be secure. Now let's talk about the mining. So there is Ethereum mining is running. It is proof of work. So the same as Bitcoin is that you'll get blocks of Ethereum allocated to you if you can demonstrate that you've actually done the work to verify transactions. And that is going to run until early 2017. So the date's not quite pinned down, so it's February or March of 2017. So we got 9, 10, 11, 12 months that proof of work mining is going to be important. Now, the reason that gives us a window of opportunity, because it means that the people who've got the largest number of computers will win in proof of work mining for Ethereum between now and then. And this opportunity that I have at Skill Dragon is absolutely going to capitalize. It's aiming and capitalizing on this window of opportunity. Mining after that changes to proof of stake. And proof of stake is you basically get rewarded if you can prove that you are holding a large enough stake in Ethereum. So the large holders of Ethereum will lead. So if we can get hold of some now, is you've got a chance of participating reasonably well in proof of stake from early 2017. So let's just talk about the Skill Dragon opportunity. So I'm going to reduce the size of this font so it's not important anymore. It's less important. And let's talk about Skill Dragon. The Skill Dragon is also a network marketing business. It's a network marketing platform, and the core of its network marketing platform is in esports. Esports is when it's basically computer games online between two individuals. So if I want to play a competitive computer game with you, the esports platform will agree what the prize is. You win the game, you get the prize. I lose the game, I get some incentive to continue participating in the games. It's growing massively in Southeast Asia, and currently the platform has at least half a dozen games. Gaming is not something that's of great importance to me, but I can see that one of the links into any form of cryptocurrency mining activity is if the game rewards are paid in a cryptocurrency that starts looking attractive. Not sure that Skill Dragon are going to do it, because I've not heard them say they are, but it's an obvious thing to do. So they are doing a big push into Ethereum mining as we speak. They have bought massive amounts of mining equipment which are being installed in data centers, in 3 different data centers, the locations of which are secret, but I think they're in the United States. And what's attractive to me for this opportunity is that the Ethereum mining opportunity is the most cost-effective way to buy hashing power. There are founders pool available to April the 30th. I'm going to pull across a chart just to demonstrate the most cost-effective way to buy hashing power. So here comes my chart. And what we'll see on the chart is on the left-hand side, you'll see here the Genesis mining packages. Genesis basically charges you a flat rate of $44, which gets you 1 mega hash of Ethereum mining power. So you'll notice, you'll recall, maybe you won't recall, that I had 7.5, I paid $330. And I can check that out very quickly. 7.5 times 44 equals $330. That's exactly what I paid. There's the number. $330 is what I paid. So that is a flat rate that bought me. So for $330, I bought 7.5. Now, I also have an Ethereum package at BitClub Network, for which I paid $1,000. So the equivalent, that would have given me 38.5 mega hash. That's this number over here, 38.5 mega hash at Skill Dragon. So I'm going to move that away, and let's just show what I've got up here. Is I have an Ethereum mining profitability calculator. Big words across the top, Ethereum mining profitability calculator. And this allows me to enter a hash rate manually, but it also allows me to work backwards to see the results. So if I go to 7.5, which is the amount of hash rate I have for Genesis mining, it should be producing 0.11 ETH per day. So that's this number over here, 0.11 ETH per day. And you will recall, you probably won't recall, is it was about that level is what I got paid yesterday with my 7.5 at Genesis mining. Now I'm going to work backwards, is that I was receiving for BitClub Network 0.25. So what I want to do is I want to make this box here equal 0.25. And the last time when I first calculated it, it was BitClub Network was running at around 12.5, because I do not know what hash rate they've actually supplied me. I just know the result. I was running at 12.5, and you see that gives me 0.187. So I'll need to up that a bit. So 17 gives me around 0.25. So let's just make it 16.5. So for $1,000, I was getting the equivalent of 16.5 mega hash. Now for $1,000 at Skill Dragon is how many mega hash am I going to get? And the answer for $1,000, it's a $1,000 column here, is I'm going to get 38.5 mega hash. So 38.5 compared to 16.5, that looks to me like nearly 100% larger. It's more than double. So even if I factor in whatever operating costs, because I do have to pay a monthly fee, whatever operating costs is that I'm at least 100%, maybe, well, at least 75%. And what we'll see is if we got a hash, so the cost per hash is 26, goes to 25, 24, 23. So what I have actually purchased here is this is what I have purchased at Skill Dragon. The mining will start in a day and a half's time. So this is why I make the point that this is the most cost-effective way to get into hashing power for Ethereum. Founders pools are available until April the 30th. There is a cost for joining, so let's just make these numbers a bit bigger here so we can actually read them easily. There's a $600 joining fee, which is basically just got to add to the cost of your pool. It's $30 per month. Contracts are actually for 3 years, but my plan with this would be to run for 12 months and then switch it off when it goes to proof of stake. So you could factor in $30 times 12 or $30 times 36. Now $30 times 36 is around $1,000. So you add $1,600 to your pool cost. And if you buy a founder's pool, it just means your founder's pool is gone from $2,500 plus $600 is $3,100 plus say $1,000 for a year. You're looking at $3,500. It's still a cost-effective way to get involved in Ethereum mining. The opportunity is only open until April the 30th. The joining fee can be paid by credit card. The $30 per month can be paid by credit card, but the pools have to be paid by Bitcoin. Now this, as I said, it is a network marketing opportunity, and I have an instinct that this opportunity is eventually going to be dramatic as well, provided one can actually build out a platform of people that are interested, or a group of people that are interested in esports and esports network marketing. That could ultimately be way bigger. But my objective here is that with that amount of mining capacity, I'm going to generate a large amount of Ethereum, and then ultimately what I'm interested in is if this chart goes to this level here, I double my money. If it goes to this level here, I triple my money. And if it goes to 32, I quadruple my money. And this is ultimately what the Ethereum opportunity is about. And this is a unique way to get into it. So that is my presentation about how to profit from Bitcoin. We can buy Bitcoin, earn Bitcoin, mine Bitcoin, and then when we talked about mining Bitcoin, you said join a mining pool. BitClub Network is an opportunity. Mine alternate coins. Genesis mining is the opportunity, or focus on one of the new coins. And Ethereum is the one that's making me really excited, and work out how to mine that. And thank you for your attention. If you'd like to find more information, you will find information on Bitcoin at my website, which is mybitcoinprofits.com. For the 3 opportunity areas to mine Bitcoin at BitClub Network, head to mymark.mx/BitClub. It's case sensitive, so it's a capital B, capital C. Mine alternate coins through Genesis Mining. Head to mymark.mx/Genesis to get a 3% discount code. Enter that code, which is 3 lowercase t capital V 9OM, the letters OM. And to mine Ethereum at Skill Dragon, head to mymark.mx/mineETH, capital M and capital E, capital T, capital H in mine ETH. Remembering the window of opportunity for USA-based people or United States-based people for BitClub Network ends April the 30th. So you need to get your BitClub organized and entered and completed on April the 30th. And the founder pool opportunities at Skill Dragon are available also until April the 30th. And I will offer a 30-day guarantee that if for any reason your mining performance is not what you were expecting, I will purchase your pools. So I will purchase those pools by refunding the same amount of Bitcoin that you paid to get into those pools. I will not purchase your entry fees, but I will purchase your pools. Happy Bitcoining, happy trading, and may the world of Bitcoin and Ethereum treat you well.